Hey yo, hey everyone, Andrew here, bringing you another video review, and today we're going to be doing Nightwing, a darker shade of justice. Take a look at this comic cover right here. Now, A Darker Shade of Justice is the fourth volume in the ongoing Nightwing series. And this volume deals heavily with what was happening with Batman during No Man's Land. Now, if you don't know what No Man's Land is, then you're obviously not a big Batman reader. No Man's Land is a series of Batman stories and books that took place, and it took a year to tell. Not only in the stories themselves, but actually with comics itself. It took from 1999 all the way to 2000. So, what happened during No Man's Land is there was a huge earthquake, and Gotham was cut off from the rest of the United States and dubbed No Man's Land. So it was an utter complete chaos. And many of the refugees from No Man's Land went to Bloodhaven, the sister city. Yeah, really going from one hellhole to another. Anyways, Nightwing needs to deal with all these people coming over to Bloodhaven. He gets a little bit of assistance from Superman, but not that much. The most Superman really does is blow some papers away, and that's really about it. Now, there are a few stories in this. There's one big story and two smaller stories. The first smaller story deals with two acrobatic sisters that are stealing from Blockbuster. Maybe not directly, but from all his crime organizations. They quickly find out that stealing from Blockbuster is not a good idea. Nightwing goes out to try to stop them before harm could be dealt to them. However, he gets stuck in the pickle too. So it's up to Nightwing to regrettably team up with these two sisters to kind of get out of the grasp of Blockbuster. So that's the first minor story. The second story, the biggest story, is dealing with Nightwing being asked by Batman to take over Blackgate. Now, what you have to understand is Blackgate is the big prison of Gotham. It's like the Alcatraz of Gotham. And during the No Man's Land crisis, tons of criminals were thrown into Blackgate by Batman. And Blackgate was being run by Lockup. Now, Lockup is a psycho ex-cop that likes to lock people up and really do harsh punishment, and he craves it. And this is like heaven for him. He also enlists the help of the KGB Beast. Yeah, I said that right. And he showed up during 10 Nights of the Beast story arc with Batman a while back. But those two are basically in control of Blackgate, and Batman fears that eventually they'll realize that they can turn all these prisoners into an army. He sends Nightwing in there to take over Blackgate and to take control of the prisoners. However, things don't necessarily work out the way they should, and Nightwing finds himself in a predicament where he actually has to work with the prisoners to get out. The last story deals with after Nightwing getting out of Blackgate, injured and battered and bruised, going over to Oracle and asking for her assistance to kind of heal up. They are quickly attacked by the rogue Gotham squadron of police officers that was pretty evident during the No Man's Land saga, and they teamed up with Huntress. So Huntress and these rogue police officers attack Barbara Gordon, thinking to use her as a bargaining chip against Commissioner Gordon. Nightwing and Barbara do the best they can to fend off, and they eventually escape. So with that said, on to the good, the bad, and whether or not you should get it. Good is, well, one thing is Tad, Nightwing, N-I-T-E wing. It's going to get hard to get used to that, huh? He is kind of expanded on a bit more in this. I like how they're developing his character. I also like how he and the police commissioner of police sergeant of Bloodhaven are starting to work together. Of course, he's being used by the sergeant, but I still like how that angle is being used with Tad. I also enjoy the romance with Barbara Gordon and Nightwing here. Barbara is so reluctant to start a relationship with Dick Grayson because of her wheelchair, flat out. And Dick is basically saying, well, it's not a problem for me. I love you, you love me, it shouldn't be an issue. She said, well, just give me time. And they kissed, and it was all romantic, and it was really touching. It was also nice to see them defend themselves against the rogue police officers and Huntress, who is a crazy bitch. In addition to that, the Blackgate one was actually pretty cool. I mean, I thought it was going to be him go in there and take over and have to deal with the criminals, but it's actually him having to deal with Lockup and the KGB. Which is kind of interesting because the KGB shouldn't be taking orders from anyone. He's kind of a big enough person that he could get out of himself. I'm surprised he didn't kill Lockup or anything, but whatever. Who cares? So that story was okay. And also the acrobatic sister one was also okay. It kind of was left hanging. Obviously, they're probably going to do something else with it. Downside, the Superman story was unnecessary. It was kind of just as unnecessary as Superman and Batman talking during No Man's Land. I mean, in No Man's Land, you kind of need to have Superman fly in and show why he doesn't belong there, but this story was unnecessary in Nightwing. In addition to that, the Blackgate story could have been a little bit better. I don't know what about it I didn't like, but I didn't care for it. Besides that, on to whether or not you should get it. I like Darker Shade of Justice. It was definitely weaker story-wise than the other ones. However, there was so much there that it made up for its lack of story. I'm not saying the stories were bad. The stories were fun. The Oracle story was really fun, and so was the story with the sisters. The Blackgate one was okay. It just could have been a bit better. But, I mean, look how thick it is. It's a pretty thick graphic novel. You're going to get a lot out of it. You're going to enjoy it. And you know what? It may not be as good as Volume 1, 2, and 3, but it's still a good Nightwing story. Still a good Nightwing trade, and I do recommend picking it up. It continues all the stuff that was happening with Nightwing up to this point. So, yes, Darker Shade of Justice. I recommend picking it up to continue your Nightwing collection. With that said, this is Andrew saying, peace out for now.